right, so I just got one thing to try to understand. I've been racking my brain all fucking day here. I want to know how I survived the near fatal catastrophe to make it here and be called fucking Andy. Okay, my name is Andrew and I am an addict. Hey, Andrew. You know, they loved it, you know, that it was in there as Andy. It's just one of them things, man, like it bothers me. You know what I mean? My name is not Andy, my name is Andrew. You know, I was asked that my entire life in school, was I Andy Drew? My fucking name is Andrew. That's what my mother named me. That's what we're running with. You know? If you haven't noticed, my brother smoked a little bit more crack than I did because his voice is just a little bit more fucked up. You know, but man, it truly is an honor and a privilege to like be a part of this men's conference. You know, it's extremely mind blowing to like be on this journey with my brother. You know what I mean? I've met a lot of people along the way in this process of recovery, but if there's one person that I want to be here with me, it is my brother. You know, because it's real hard to be in here and learn some things and know that the person that looks like you and you spent your entire life with is out there fucking his life up, you know? And like, you know, like he said, that like he wished he had the Cinderella story, but the matter of fact is that he's here. You know, he's here now. He found his way when he had to find his way, you know, because the topic is like, we don't have to think twice about it. You know, he's already touched it like it did come from Who's an Addict, you know, but there's a point in my process that I did think twice about this thing. You know, I came here, I got some freedom, I got some acceptance with the fact that I had a disease, and I made a conscious decision to go and use. It was nobody else's fault. You know, I tried to do that when I came back here. I tried to blame it on everybody, but it was nobody's fault but mine. You know, and like through some sitting down and thinking through some stuff and talking to some people, you know, I realized that like what is different in my recovery now than was before is the topic today, and that's stability. You know, I came back here, man, I was beaten and I was broken. If you are new, if you are back from a relapse, welcome. You don't ever have to use again. I truly believe in that today. You know, I know that when I first came back, I was scared to death to go to a meeting. I was ashamed. I was scared. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to show my face. I thought everybody was pissed off and angry at me. You know, my buddy, man, he took me to a meeting in the park, you know, and they gave me the 12 traditions. And he sat next to me and he said, "You sure you want to read this?" I said, "Yeah, I got it, man." And once I started reading, all that fear was gone. I knew that I was here, man. I knew that I made it back. Because I'm going to tell you what's fucked up is what was fucked up the whole time about me using, it wasn't the money running out. It wasn't the things that I had to do, because I find some acceptance in that when I'm getting high, man. I find some acceptance in the fact that I'm about to do some shit today that I don't really want to do, you know, but it just is what it is. But I remembered what it was like to get up every day and not want to get high. And when I was using, that's the only thing I missed. I woke up every single day and I knew that there was a better way to live. I knew there was people that loved me and accepted me and would help me. You know, my buddy used to call me on the phone and he'd say, "What are you going to do?" I used to tell him, "I don't fucking know, man. I mean, I don't know if I want to come back. I don't know if I can come back." And he would just tell me, "Man, I love you. And whenever you're ready, I'll help you." And he did, man. You know what I mean? I got one of my buddies here today. When I came back, he let me sleep on his couch for 90 days. It wasn't because I didn't have anywhere to go. It was because I knew that if I went where I was allowed to go, I didn't trust myself. You know, it talks about in the basic text that like relationships can be a very painful area. Well, that's me. That was written for me. It's still my story today. You know, you know, I got involved and tangled up with a girl that, like, man, I loved her. I did. I loved her, man. But I made that decision. And then we used, you know. And all those years, man, of me getting high and him doing his thing, our paths never crossed in that. But when I relapsed, our paths crossed. You know, I remember when he texted me that morning, he asked me if I could get him something, and I ignored it. You know, because I didn't want to go down that road. But then I sat there, man, sick, broken. It was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I could get you something. You know, I remember sitting in there's one thing about a crackhead, man. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. We're sitting in the car, man. We're getting high and shit. You know what I mean? He's over there doing his thing, and I'm a dope fiend. You know what I mean? And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you sure you have to use that needle?" I said, "Motherfucker, are you sure you got to use that pipe?" You know, I mean, I told him we're in the car. You know, we're kind of big. I told him, I said, "Man, turn your fucking head." You know? And like, as I'm still getting high, see, that's what this thing did for me, man. Like, as I was still getting high, you know, and I seen him at his moment, and like, he needed a little bit of help. While I was still using, man, I still was trying to call and help him out, you know, because he did one of them dumb things like take that shit that makes you withdraw real quick and shit, you know, and he's laying on the floor shitting himself and throwing up over there, you know, and I had to try to help him, you know what I mean? I had to help him because I wasn't feeling like he was feeling, you know what I mean? I felt bad for him at that point. I was just doing all this shit. It wasn't working for him, you know. But man, I do know that you know, in the Who's an Addict, it tells us this thing is chronic, progressive, and fatal, but it is treatable. You know, like if you're new, man, you need to know that it is treatable. You know, and you know what I have found along this journey, man, is I have truly found some people that believe in me and want to help me in my recovery. You know, I found some people that like taught me how to do this thing, man. They taught me how to live. They taught me that it's okay. I'm allowed to think differently than you. I don't have to agree with all of you, even at service meetings, you know, because I am a part of service, but I don't have to agree with everybody. You know, I think for myself today, I got my own opinion. If you don't like it, that's why you have a fucking sponsor, you know? And I know, man, I know that, like, you know, my sponsor, man, he hears me all the fucking time, man. It's always about a relationship with me. You know, I'm in a relationship with a woman that she is not in recovery. She does not understand this thing. She don't understand it. I don't know if she believes in it. You know, and most days I find acceptance with it. Like, I don't really care if she believes in it. You know, it works for me. But every once in a while it strikes that nerve that, like, if she only knew. You know, she never met me when I was using. She only knows me when I'm clean. You know, and they got a little bit of money, man. You know what I mean? They got more than me, more than I had growing up. And, you know, I just tell her all the time, like, if you only knew. You know, they own a demolition company. And I tell her, like, them fucking excavators, I will drive them down the street to the scrapyard. You know? Because, like, man, she doesn't understand, like, when I get in the car and I want to go away with my buddies, and she's like, I don't understand why 3 or 4 of you guys stay in a hotel room together. She's like, she tells me all the time, I'll pay for your room, you could stay by yourself. But I don't want to stay by myself. You know what I mean? I enjoy that. I enjoy traveling. I learned how to be a traveling addict. You know what I mean? This thing is worldwide. It doesn't just happen in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? I've been all kinds of places. You know? And most the best times of my trips are in the car, to and from. Once I get there, man, I just like talk shit. That's what I do. I like to talk shit. But like in the car, man, you know, these guys taught me like how to get vulnerable with them, how to tell the truth with them. You know, I rode with the first time I was ever in the car with George, we were going to Niagara Falls, and I used to always think that George was like, you know, people respect George around here, man. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, they respect him, as they should, you know? And we was in the car, man, and we put some Jay-Z on, and he started in the back, man. He was knocking and rapping the same shit that I was doing. You know what I mean? And it showed me that he was human. He's human just like me. You know, and he's been here some more days for me. He's done some more things than me in life. You know what I mean? But like, that's my man. You know what I mean? I know that when my first meeting I went to was the 10 a.m. in the Hill District at the old YMCA, and George C. after the meeting, he gave me the Who's an Addict pamphlet. And he said, here, answer these questions. And if you answer more of them yes than you do no, then you're definitely home. You know, and I knew that, man. I mean, I knew I had a problem. You know that? My parents used to blame themselves for the problems. That because I don't have that story. I'm not that addict, man. I didn't have a bad childhood. I got good parents. I come from a good family. My dad always showed up for me. I am a mama's boy, and I own that shit. You know what I mean? But they always blamed themselves for my problems. You know what I mean? I made the decision to not go to football practice and to stand on the block. She didn't make me do that shit. And like what I get most out of this is like, you know what I mean? My mom has her sons back. Both of them. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to worry tonight. My dad used to tell us that, like, my dad told me one time that the only time he got any sleep was when I was in rehab, because jail is not my story. I'm not made for jail. I don't like jail. I'm getting the fuck out of jail as soon as I get to jail. You know what I mean? I don't do that shit. And it probably had a lot to do with being a dope fiend, you know what I mean? I don't like to be sick. I got to go. I will call my mom. Whatever she got to do, I'm going home. But they blamed themselves, man, for a long time. A lot of people did. You know what I mean? Time's up. Damn, Phil, you up here running your damn mouth calling me Andy and shit. But look, man, at the very end of this, at the very end of Who's an Addict, it does tells us that we have a disease for life, but we do recover. My name's Andrew, and I'm an addict.